Some may have said that I would never stream again. Who said that? I don't know. But they'd be wrong. Because I'm doing it again. What are we doing today, Zoltan? Oh, you already know what it is. We're going back to the old well. The old musty well. Got a bit of mildew in the water supply. There's nothing we can do about it. There I am. Perfect. What was I doing? I was thumbnailing, apparently. I take weekends off. They might change those soon. Because I applied for a dreaded retail job because I need money. And I'm sick and tired of graphic design studios with their highfalutin career paths not hiring me. So I applied for a temporary retail position. Hopefully a temporary retail position. Knowing my luck, I'm gonna actually just like freaking excel at it so good that it's gonna be my new career path. And I'm gonna be up for a management position in about 5 years. Why is this not working? Why does that work like that now? What the heck? Okay. Well, that's strange. This is a whole new technological issue I have never faced before. Or if I just click. What the heck is that? Alright, let's just reset the old drawing tablet, I think. I heard that. I heard that one as well. I usually don't hear these noises. Alright, try again. Try working this time. Okay, it's good now. Thank goodness. I was worried. Is this the right thickness? It might be one thicker than I do it normally. That looks more in line with what I've been working with. Was it size 8? Okay. Thank goodness I could just restart the drawing tablet without restarting my PC. That would have been annoying. I really should just move on to the line art, but I want to get... The line art is easier if I spend this long on the thumbnailing, he said. Coping the entire way. The retail position I applied for is dairy stocker though, so you know, apparently from what I hear, that's not it. My friend works in retail. I think he actually works in the dairy department, and he says they supply you with these, with the coats, so you don't freeze to death, or get some sort of hypothermia. And they give you this, these jackets, and these hats, and these shoes. And the shoes you get like every 6 months or whatever, every few months, something like that. I'll have to ask him again. But they basically just deck you out with the wardrobe that I already wear, which is like a jacket, beanie, and then, shoes. I do wear shoes, believe it or not. Even in my goblin form, I wear shoes. I've shown it. Canonical that I wear shoes. But I thought it was like, that's crazy that they the shoe. He said something wild. He said the shoes that they supply you with every now and again are like $200, which is more expensive than some of the pairs of shoes I've worn in my life combined. Like 3 or 4 pairs of shoes that I wear on an average, you know, out of the average lifespan of my shoes. You can take around 3 of those lifespans, 3 of those pairs of shoes, and then that's probably still maybe like $150. And he says they supply you with shoes that are like $200. This particular franchise. So I don't know if any of that's real, But I don't have any reason for him to lie about that. So it just seems too absurd to be true. Oh yeah, you're a entry-level retail position, working in the dairy stocking department? Here, have $200 shoes, and also we're gonna kit out your entire fit, idiot. Get with the program. Your duds are whack. Can't be palling around with those threads. Get out of those. Get into something new. And then they hand you an alligator skin tuxedo. And then you wear that for a few hours in the dairy department. Like, this chafes really bad. This is terrible. Definitely not ethically sourced. Let's see, what do we got going on up here? Alright, I should do black, because that's not 100%. Where's the volume on this? This Hollow Knight soundtrack's a little quieter than I remember it being last time we used it. But it should be good. I haven't read any complaints about it, so therefore it is fine. Until proven otherwise. Also, I checked the OBS levels and they're perfectly stable. Just a little lower than where they'd normally be. So at the very least, if I upload the VOD, it'll be like there's no music or very quiet music. Worst case scenario. I think I gotta move her whole deal over a little bit. Lady, move your whole deal, please. Let me open up the old reference here. I gotta see how I made her chin look from a front-on view. It is more rounded in some of these panels, so I think I should do that. But also, I'm just very inconsistent. I should probably just pick one. Rounded or pointed? Looks like I've gone for sort of a hybrid between both as a compromise. Now this is the Dung Defenders theme. I was wondering what this was. That is the only man ridiculous enough to have this song. Freaking news broadcaster type beat. If I do get that job, since I brought it up earlier, I don't know when my streaming schedule will be. I was hoping for the other one to pick up, because the other one is dairy stocking, which could be like any hours, but I'm assuming it'll be like regular store hours most of the time. But the other one was nighttime stalker, not stalker, stalker, as in putting stuff on shelf, as you do. I've done it before. I could do it again. But the nighttime one sounded way more appealing because I could keep my stream schedule, and also I don't sleep at night anyway. I sleep in like just the weirdest hours. Basically whenever I feel like it, which is what happens to you when you're unemployed, so I could kind of just keep up that whole routine, this whole song and dance, and also have money. I would probably be a little more tired, but a nighttime stalker, that doesn't seem like the most mentally or physically taxing job. What you do is stuff. I'm talking about jobs that I might or might not get in the near future. Not graphic design ones, but you know, something. Anything. Jesus Christ, employers. I've sent out hundreds, if not thousands by now. I've literally gone back to the old out of college art degree stereotype, where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go work in a graphic design firm, and then for the next 5 years you just hit up your local food grocer, and that's where you live. You live in that food grocer. The money kind. I do need a money job. But I was talking about how the one that I'm hoping that I get is it's a night stocking job, so I could just keep up basically my entire schedule right now, but make money at night, which would be lovely. Because I don't do anything at night. I certainly don't sleep during night times, as evidenced by the fact that my sleep schedule is horrendous. So if I could just do what I'm doing right now, exactly, and then also go to a store and get money after a bit, that seems completely fine with me. I could just do that for like a year, or until a graphic design job hires me. I'm still going to keep applying for that. For any of those. I ain't taking no unpaid internship. You could freaking huff my paint, so to speak. Doggos? Really? I just started streaming 22 minutes ago, and you're gonna freaking do the bark thing now? You couldn't do that never? Perhaps? Or 22 minutes ago? We're not even getting deliveries today. For once. There's 7 years of GameStop, so I know the struggle. I gotta do something. I gotta freaking do something. As long as I'm not front end, I will be completely fine doing a retail job again. I could not be a cashier. My friend was telling me, because he works at one of these retail. He has for a while, and he says every time that he talks to these cashiers, they have to wear like these yellow name tags because they're all, you know, not even 18. They're like 16 or whatever, and they can get hired by this company for some reason. And he says every time you talk to them, they are just the most miserable human beings on the planet because they have to deal with customers all day as a front-end cashier. And I'm like, yeah, that's horrible. Why would you ever do that? And he says most of them were people who were tricked into it because what they do in those kind of jobs is they hire you for a different position. And then at some point they come up to you and they ask you, hey, would you mind working the front end for a bit? And you're supposed to say no. Because otherwise you get caught doing front-end cashier stuff all the time, which will kill you as a human being. It's like the real-life equivalent of tech service and being in a call center. There's just so many faces and voices you have to interact with, and they're probably not going to be good sometimes. They might just be generally miffed or annoyed about groceries. The one thing that's or that could be worse than being upset about groceries is being upset about food, which is why I have vowed to never work in the food service industry. I don't care how much I am paid. If there could be a 5-star chef that says, we just need literally anyone, just come into the kitchen for like a second. We'll pay you like $80 an hour. No, I'm not doing it. People get so way too upset about food. I'm not gonna have somebody yell at me about tomatoes. I don't care about tomatoes. I don't even like them that much. Specifically, what is wrong with tomatoes? I just don't like the texture, mainly. They're too squishy. And the flavor is not worth the squish, in my personal opinion. Stop, dude! I'm streaming over here, God. That was louder than before. I feel like they're getting louder. Cherry. Sup? Hashtag relatable. That was what happened to me at Walgreens. Applied and was hired for the photo department. Immediately was on the front register and got sent to cosmetics before photo. Took literally years to get back there. See, I'm telling you. I'm glad I have a dude on the inside who tells me all these things, because I could... Someone hits me up with, do you want to work front end? I could just say no. Absolutely, you are not getting me with this song and dance. No, 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 no. I am If I get Dairy Stalker, which is where you just hang out in a back cooler for the entire day, I am doing that. And nothing else, I think. This sounds way more like a TF2 song than a Hollow Knight song. Oh, there's the violin. Very much more Hollow Knight. I don't think TF2's got violins in it very often. When it's just the drum and cello, I guess that's technically drum and bass, but in a different way. Sounded way more TF2-esque. I'm still doing thumbnailing. I gotta stop. Alright, we gotta do line art. We have to do a single line art, please. That'll be my goal for today. Finish the line art. I've decided. Let's rotate. And then he goes back to doing the line art again, or the thumbnailing again. I swear I can quit whenever I want. Okay, let's do it for real this time. Flip the page. I've been trying to work on cinematic language and cinematic framing. I found this one webtoon. You know what? I should actually try and find it here. I'll just throw up a little BRB even though I'm still here. Because I think this way, and also it'll be a little bit of a shout out because I did so. It's only a couple chapters, but it seems neat. And I wanted to bring it up because it has some really cool examples of cinematic framing that I think I could learn from, and I think we could all learn a little something from. I was kind of impressed because the composition, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but it seemed like the composition and lighting are two of the most effective things you can learn if you want your work to appear professional. Like the anatomy and comp and all that, whatever, all the other color picking, color theory. You can learn that stuff for sure. Whoops, I've entered the wrong password. But if you want your piece to be effective quickly, I appear to have forgotten my password. I'm going to figure this out. I'll keep rambling while I'm talking. But if you want your work to be effective quickly, then lighting is one of the most important things you can learn. And also cinematic framing. I think it really comes down to application of foreshortening. If you can get foreshortening down, you can make stuff look crazy. And it doesn't even have to be that exaggerated. Just like a little bit of foreshortening is super good. Hold on, I'm re-entering a password. I better still be on Clip Studio for this. Nobody's spying on me, right? Just entering my social security number. Don't worry about it. Foreshortening. It's pretty good tool in your toolbox, and I think you'll notice when I bring it up when I bring up this comic I found the other day. Okay, let me go to my freaking my profile, mine and only mine. How do I go to the ones that I followed? Dashboard, subscribbled, that's the one. I just found it. Let me see if I can find the name of the thing. Oh yeah, here it is. This has some pretty cool examples of cinematic language, and I'll bring it up. Story's not important. It is vertical format though, so I will advise you all to watch your eyes. Be careful. It is going to make them fall out of your skull because that's just how the vertical format be. It's terrible, and we all know this. Brace yourselves. Alright, here it is. Is there a dark mode for Webtoon? I don't care anymore. But yeah, we're going to scroll through some of this. This is a Are They Real? That's what the name of the series is if anyone wants to go look it up later. You can see here the background's very simplistic. They just kind of throw it in with whatever this brush is. Could be a freaking cell brush. It's got some transparency on it though, it looks like. Maybe for the lighting. But the thing that gets me is the framing of everything is really well done. Even just this shot here, this is great. And there's a slight 3-point perspective tilting upwards, you can see there. Yeah, really nice textured brush for the grass. I was going to cop that later. You got this shot here, and I don't know if they would have referenced 3D model for this because they do this so consistently. But I wouldn't put it past them if they did because everything's framed super well. Every shot here, they would have had to use some 3D model, right? Right? Look at this descending staircase into this sort of low, this high angle. This is a high angle, I remember. It's from the point of view of what you're describing. So this high angle from this thing. In through the hallway, this room, enclave here, great. Character design is where they did lose me a little bit. But that's not my thing, you know? It's just different. But everything else, I think it looks great. This looked like some of this was drawn over SketchUp assets. That's true. So it looks, I think that could be the case for some of it. This is well framed. See, stuff like this. This isn't even like, this isn't drawn over SketchUp assets for sure. Maybe this doily was actually going to have, but maybe they just fiddled that in. But even something as simple as just having this character here and having this element of the other one even closer in the foreground, I think they slightly blurred it as well. It's like, regardless of what technique they're using here, their framing, I think, is really what carries a lot of this. There was one, I believe, let me look for, this looks neat. Was it their second chapter, I think? Some cool, you know, it's just like very simple but effective lighting stuff going on here that you can learn from. Or even just like putting a blurred reflection in water. It's just like, there's some cool stuff here. This shot was cool in particular. This sort of, what do they call this anyway? Technique where foreground blur, background not blurred. A lot of B's in that sentence. Just something like that. I think I need to incorporate, I need to like ignore the frame more and just pretend that I'm drawing an illustration. There's this one, they do the same thing again. I think what this really boils down to is I need to learn and apply that technique more. There's, again, they do it right here. They have this sort of parallax type texture, or this thing, image in the foreground. Racked focus, that's a good way to describe it then. What I need to learn is some racked focus and how to apply more foreground, background elements. Pair it with some foreshortening, get some better lighting. That probably just boils down to color theory, but yeah. Hopefully they saw that. Oh, they did. Alright, that's anyway. That series caught my eye in particular, because they were the ones that you don't see a lot of people even trying to do stuff like that on Webtoon Canvas, because it's a lot of amateurs like me. So that was just one that I thought looked interesting. And I think I could apply some racked focus, some foreshortening, etc. But enough talk. Have at you. Without the W. You don't gotta roast the man. He's providing helpful information. Racket Ralph, even. He's providing us a great service. Careful. He's a hero. Whoops. Yeah, sorry, God. You mean roast? How did you know I didn't say that without the W? Roast? Would I say it like that? Could have been one of those homonyms. Homophones? I forget. I haven't been in an English class in years. I forget which one is which. Some of them look the same, some of them sound the same. This eraser is so tiny. Why? Be bigger. That's the one thing I'll give myself credit for. I don't like to pat myself on the back too much, but my art puritanicalism. Wait, this is the wrong. Hold on, I gotta blind you for a second. One thing I'll give myself credit for, since I don't do that often, is that I don't draw over anything. All this is from the brain space. That's something I will take personal pride in, even though, like, there's no reason to. I just like doing it. I'm using pure black. I don't normally use pure black, so I'm just fixing that real quick. Let me get you back on screen. Okay. I have to do this. Okay, hold on. We gotta use this cell brush for this. There we go. Does this look better if I just... Okay, no, that's the same color. Alright, just wanted to make sure. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I don't draw over anything. I'm an art purist. I don't use no 3D models. Probably should, but I don't. I use the perspective tool, and that's about it. I should use that. You know what I want to do at some point? I want to see if I can get that, there's another animating technique I've forgotten the name of. I want to get that technique down they used in that TV show Chowder, where they put like a JPEG as the texture in the background. I'm sure they've done this in other medium, or pieces of media before, but I don't remember any of them. But the texture of the clothing will scroll behind them, or you know, it'll remain stationary while they move around, and it looks neat. I don't know how well that would translate to a comic, because nobody's moving, but, you know, could be interesting. Could be fun, could be fun. The fixed textures, yeah. My audio cut out, so I don't know what undoubtedly witty repartee you had for that. Actually, I was annoyed to find out racked is considered an obsolete spelling. I disagree. Racking your brain looks really weird. Like we're all living no guns life. It was not witty, I assure you. You did not miss much. You can go back and check the VOD. I'm sure I just kind of drooled a little bit and then said something like, oh. And that's probably what it sounded like. I know talk good. Count of Monte Cristo anime did that too? Yeah, that's true. That was one of them, wasn't it? That anime looked great, by the way. Probably goes without saying, but yeah, I want to look at that right now, actually. I won't bring it up on stream, but I do just want to remind myself. Ooh, anime. Look at that. Why they do it that way? Why they put Dracula in here? Why he looks so physically appealing? They can't do that to me. I've seen manga do it, and it can look kind of weird with busier textures. Yeah. That's why I don't know how well it would work in a different format where nothing's moving. I feel like you need that context, that visual context of things moving around it. For it to otherwise, it's just like a weird texture. Sitting underneath lines. With, you know, you just have to deliberately ignore form, I guess. Which I could be compelled to do. I could ignore form. I do it on accident all the time. I might as well start doing it on purpose. That reminds me of that, what's the channel name? He's a writer channel. I think his name's Hello Future Me or something. He made a YouTube short where he was talking about how he quit his writing degree program. Because they were talking about stuff that you should have definitely learned way before you were in a college writing course. like what dialogue is. And he said he wrote one of the assignments that he got. He wrote this just horrible. He had to write a hero's journey story in 1 page. And just because he hated that assignment idea so much as a concept, he wrote the most generic storyboard, by the numbers checkbox thing he could think of as a joke, because he was going to quit anyway. And the professor came up to him and was like, "Can we use this as an example of what to do correctly in the future?" So he left the program. And I just thought that was funny. You really can't trust every source, can you? Kind of just you gotta acquire a sense of better judgment. Because even the professionals in the industry, a professor with tenure, apparently can just be bad. Which is crazy to me how you get to that point in your career as an instructor. Surely you have credentials by then, and you can just be terrible. And still get money for being terrible. That's wild to me. I'm sure it's hard to come by, you know, if you're like a public institute. Hollywood story writers and all that, screenplay writers and all that, for all of your professor positions, but you still got like someone who's making you write 1-page hero's journey stories. Surely there's somebody better for the job. Telling you what dialogue is? Should definitely know what dialogue is if you're going to college for writing. I really hope this comic's writing is well received, because I hyperfixate on writing all the time. It's it's probably the thing I learned the most about that I've applied the least in my life. Like, I know so much about writing, characters, settings, themes, and all that, but I've literally never done anything with it until this comic that I'm working on right now. This is probably the most writing I've ever had to do, most planning I've ever put into a writing piece that I've done. I've got scripts lined out, I've got scenes lined out, I've got arcs all mapped out. How their interpersonal connections will affect both the setting and the theme, all of it. I've put it all through the brain space. And yet I have no one to actually judge if it's good or not until it's out there. There's a comedian, his name is Randy Feltface, he's a puppet. Stay with me. He's really real. I did not fever dream this. He did a bit. He had this whole special. It's probably his most popular special. You might have even seen it by now because it went through the YouTube algorithm a while back. Where it's called Randy Wrote a Book. And one of the opening premises of that entire comedy set, it's a bit philosophical. It's one of my more favorite comedy specials because of the way he handles it, where they usually they put in a little philosophy there. He's talking about legacy and presenting your artistic creations as being emblematic of that legacy. And he says you just have no idea how good a book is going to be until it's out there. There's no way to know if it's bad or not until you receive judgment from it. For it, I should say. And until then, you've just made a book. Whether or not it's good is completely up to the audience. And you can be your own audience, or at least a part of it. I've held that belief for a long time. You're always a part of your own audience. But it's like you can't truly know whether or not something you've made is good or bad, because our whole thing is general consensus. As human beings. So I hope that when I put this out there, I'm not just completely blind to the fact that this has been horrible the whole time. Because I've sat with it myself for so long. It's like when you go nose blind and then you leave your house for a few hours, you come back and you're like, oh my gosh, this smelled like this the whole time. It's like that, but for writing. That's why it's good to have a group of fellow writers and or people you trust to give you an honest opinion, to be the buffer before throwing yourself to the wolves. I have heard of people doing that too. They have their they call it their spoiler squad. I've heard it I've heard of it called, which is cute. That's adorable. You can do that. So yeah, maybe I should consider. I've already written chapter 1 in the prologue, but maybe for chapter 2 I could start selecting people to throw my story in. Read this, please. Tell me I'm good at this thing that I do. Should this character die? Should they all die? Give it to me straight, Doc. Alright, I've made my decision. I'll kill them off. The entire party, and the story will end there. It'll be like Death Note. Bold decision. I draw this. I drew his with the design pencil on his nose, and I drew hers, but then I also drew it with the real pencil over there. I'm just so inconsistent. What is wrong with me? I was rooting for Light. I think we all were. At some point. I mean, it's because him losing is the reason the show goes from a 10 out of 10 to like an 8 out of 10. Where's my, circle? Here's the circle. What the heck are you doing? Okay, get that out of here. Okay, I'm gonna move this here. Oh, we could just do it. I just gotta see. I gotta get the right size. I'll take a potato chip and eat it. Yeah, like we know. We know. And when we like that about you, my dude, you take those potato chips. I never watched the show, which is kind of bonkers given how popular it was. Just read the manga. Yeah, the show is absurdly popular. That was the first, you know, it's weird. The first, my first exposure to that show was through, like, minute-long clips or whatever on YouTube way back in the day, back when that was a little less detectable by their algorithm or whatever. So I just watched the entire series in a playlist, and it was a nightmare. But I did watch it. I watched it all. That was my first exposure to, I guess, piracy. I didn't really pirate it. I just kind of watched it on YouTube. Somebody else put it there. They're the ones who pirated it, not me, Copium. Officer, it wasn't me. I can explain. It was this other guy. He put the anime on YouTube. He tricked me. I'm just an innocent bystander who was roped into this whole thing. Now let's do this one. This seems too high. Move lower. Yeah, that was right. See, if I do get this retail job, I wouldn't even be more tired than I am usually because I'm already exhausted all the time. That's my secret captain. Captain, what does he say? What does the Hulk say in that scene? That's my secret cap? As in no cap? I think he just says cap. Wait. Cap, nice. I had it right eventually. Whoa, that was a little dramatic. Calm down. I'm just making a comic here. One thing I will say about my comic is, regardless of who you ask, you want to establish your character's motivations pretty quickly. And I don't think I do that particularly quickly. I'm aware of it as I write the story, though, so I'm hoping that my subconscious brain just kind of factors that in, and I write a story that, regardless of that little pacing hiccup, maybe, can turn it into a kind of positive, or something that is, at the very least, seemingly intentional. Because that's the thing, right? You gotta know the rules to break them. Hopefully I've broken them in a successful manner. Whoops. Speaking of breaking the rules, I've drawn that on the wrong layer. Breaking the law? Breaking the law? What time is it? An hour. I don't think I'm gonna finish the line art, boys. I've been thinking about it for about the past 5 seconds, and I don't think we're gonna finish the line art on this page today. On stream, anyway. I saw one of the artists on in the art platform, on the art category on Twitch recently, yesterday actually. I think it was yesterday. They got front page, and they had like 5,000 viewers. And based on their follower count, that was probably not their usual. But that was pretty neat. Just seeing artists get front page. You don't see that happen very often, I don't feel like. But they had cute little frog art, and they had a very warm color palette that they did everything with. It looked very neat. And they used desaturated colors, which I'm a big fan of. Revision is your friend, draft 1. Write whatever you want, draft 2. Make it look like it was intentional. Hopefully I've done that. Hopefully I'm making that, or those decisions. Where I've done them, and it seems like, yeah, you know what? The character motivation isn't established on, like, page 3, but I'm willing to hear him out until he gets there. Because there's some other stuff going on. Seems like he meant to do that. There was this one writing tip I heard about, which I've always thought was pretty interesting, where it was in regards to specifically introducing characters, where you want to take an attribute of them that is going to be relevant to the story, the plot, or the character themselves, you know, and you want to introduce them, and the concept was just, it's simple, just keep in mind that when you introduce them, introduce that attribute that you're highlighting of them at a 10, like a 10 out of 10 scale. From a scale of 1 to 10, introduce that attribute at a 10, or maybe even 11. You want to really you want to make it very apparent. that attribute, whatever you're highlighting. And I saw this one thing, it was very interesting. You can use that as a point to highlight how cool a character is, or like how unique this particular, basically what makes them them, highlight their identity, or you can use that to highlight their follies, their flaws even. And one example I saw was Attack on Titan, where Eren Yeager, at the beginning of the show, they highlight just how weak and pathetic he is, and how much of a fraidy cat he is when his freaking entire house explodes, and he runs away he gets torn away from that situation. But nevertheless, he's unable to do anything, and they show that in the most over-the-top way possible. He cannot do anything against the threat that he is faced with, and they use that as a point. They introduce that at an 11. It's one of the most dramatic moments of the introduction of the show. And they use that as a point of growth for his future, for the future of his character. He just immediately goes to join the military. But that one's a good example too, because that also establishes motivation while introducing the character's flaws at an 11, making them memorable, making it dramatic. So that's very efficient storytelling when you analyze it. They introduce Levi. He's a tsundere. We all know this for sure. That's very apparent from the first time you see him. Is this loud now? No, that's good. It always seems loud. Why does it seem like it gets louder? Do I have sensitive ears? Is that what this is? I don't get startled by fireworks, but I do find them loud. Can my phone stop notifying me of things, please, sir? I gotta set it to DND. Do not disturb, which I brought up a whole separate rant about, so at some other point, I remember that. Do not disturb. DND, the abbreviation, stands for Dungeons and Dragons, not Do Not Disturb, as some people would lead you to believe. Thoughts on the new movie? Is it out yet? I didn't even know. D&D movie. It is indeed. Interesting. I haven't seen it yet. I do want to see it. I'm looking at the review scores. Apparently it's freaking awesome. What the heck? Apparently it's the dopest movie that's ever been released. What is going on? That's nuts. Apparently I'm gonna have to watch that. I'm glad that D&D content is just like consistently great these days. Oh, and want to see it too. Wasn't it like the top of my list though? Apparently it should be. It's getting like 9 out of 10s all over the dang place. Strokes beard. I'll be the judge of that. A 9 out of 10 Dungeons and Dragons movie, you say? If I don't see a single dexterity saving throw in the entire film, I'm leaving. I'm walking out within the first 20 minutes. Not there, leaving. I don't even know how you'd factor that into the movie, because it's like a real take on the whole thing, but just do. If you don't find a way, then are you even Hollywood writers? Actually, the worse the movie is, the more likely I am to believe that it was Hollywood writers. The better a movie is, the more I believe they just outsourced it to some guy. That guy's name? Albert Einstein. Oh, there's no object to transform. I don't normally trust review scores myself, but if it's like everywhere, like across the board of the review sites, the critics and the audience scores, I'm inclined to believe them a little bit more at that point. Maybe Christmas, he thought, means a little bit more. Did you know it was adapted from Dungeons and Dragons? Google felt fit to tell me that, and now I know, so thank goodness. I would have gone in there expecting some freaking Dota game or some Dota movie or something, I don't know. Path of Exile or something. What are these other Dungeons and Dragons movies? Wrath of the Dragon God? Apparently god-awful. I mean, that's what I about expect. 2005 release. Ooh, budget 12 million, box office under 2 million. Dungeons and Dragons in the year 2000? Oh, even worse. Uh-oh. They didn't even list the budget for that one. Jeremy Irons. How did they get you in there? Apparently they've literally all been awful. How did they make less than a tenth of their budget? Or like almost like a tenth of their budget as box office return for this Wrath of the Dragon God movie. And then there's a Dungeons and Dragons 3, and I'm assuming there's a 2 in there somewhere. I literally can't even find 2 on Google. How did they make 2 more if they failed so hard the first time? That's interesting. Anyway, back to the artwork. A lot of organ on this track. Going a little too ham for me right now. I'm just trying to draw. I'm just like a guy. This is like final boss. What's going on here? YouTube, explain yourself. Oh, the Grim Troop. Yeah, it is. I guess that is the final boss of that DLC, so that makes sense. That boss was a nightmare. I remember that. That actually might be a pun. I think he was called, like, something of the nightmare or whatever. Nightmare form? I don't remember. He's got 2 phases, that's all I remember. Which was enough to make me so upset when I discovered that the first time. I've never been gotten like that, usually. Most of the games I've played with multi-phase boss fights are Dark Souls games, and you kind of come to expect it. After Ornstein and Smo in the first game, they can't really get you again with that, but in Hollow Knight, I had no idea they would hit me just so brutally with a second phase. On the Grim Troop, because the first phase of him is already so rough to get down, to learn. And then they hit you with phase 2, and it's like, oh, here goes another 2.5 hours of my life, I suppose. Because I was bad at Hollow Knight combat. I won't shy away from that fact. I was kind of garbo at Hollow Knight combat, but I enjoyed it. Apparently the meta is to just spam particular magic attacks with a certain pin setup. I didn't know that. I tried it out immediately after I learned about it. It's a very powerful, very effective tool. Spamming magic blasts. Using your magic missile to coin a phrase from a certain property. That's right. Warhammer. No, I don't think they say magic missile in Warhammer. They might, I don't know. I haven't been paying attention, really, to the story. I haven't even finished the prologue yet. And then some other friends I got. We've been playing Vermintide 2. I have no idea what's going on. I know who the factions are, though, now, which is pretty neat. If I hadn't played Warhammer 3 at all, I wouldn't have known what Cursed by the Nurgle means. But now that I do know who they are, seeing Cursed by Nurgle on a level and then having it mean that your entire playthrough of that level means you're going to be poisoned the whole time, I'm like, oh, that makes sense, I get it, I understand that. I get the thing that they're saying. Cursed by the corn, if you kill enemies, sometimes a giant skull will explode. I'm like, oh, I know what that means. I know why why they made that decision. So it's a very revelatory experience for me, discovering that interacting with media makes you better understand that media. I feel like people don't have this experience often enough, where they get into something with so much lore that it just becomes exciting to learn anything. I'm like, oh, I know that. I clapped when I saw it. No, yeah, it's like more just straight up and down, I think. I think that's how it goes for him. Man is still banning steak. He's been doing it for years. I'm half considering just leaving this in the final cut of the series. Just because it'll make no sense in context. But I think it would be funny. And really, like I said, you are part of your own audience, so if you think something's going to be funny, it's probably all the reason you need to do it. You wouldn't have to if the damn people would just listen. If they would just understand. He wasn't with my mom. But they're like, no, he totally was with your mom. And I'm like, no, he wasn't. Don't listen to him. He's a liar and a charlatan, that guy. And also he smells like beef, which is probably his normal state, but even still. You gonna trust a guy that smells like beef all the time? I wouldn't. He smells deliciously untrustworthy, dangerously beefy, which is probably the worst parody anyone's ever said involving the Cheetos slogan. I don't think it could get much worse than that. Oh, I drew it all on the same layer like a fool. Actually, we all know the worst parody about Cheetos is it was made by Meat Canyon, for sure. Cannot deny that. That parody is disturbing. Intentionally so, but still. Really went hog wild on that one. No, yeah, for sure that one would be my pick. Almost ruined Cheetos for him. I luckily haven't eaten Cheetos in forever, so I didn't have any aversion to that. Almost. I see you and Rob are part of the same religion. Nothing can quite break your Cheetos. I don't even know what to call it. I guess I'll just call it what it is, worship? I have them next to me right now, on your little shrine that you turn to several times a day in prayer. Someone please ruin Cheetos for you. Is there some tension over the Cheetos here? What have the Cheetos been doing to your livelihood? Are you guys destitute as a result of Stove's Cheeto eating habit? Smelling like literally ass. I see. Alright, I've received a Discord message from Stove. Ain't no one gonna call me a liar. He do in fact got those things on him. And then his humble brag with his Copic markers in the background. I see it, whatever. That's fine. You ain't gotta do me like that. Copic, sorry. I said Copic like a narc. Yeah, that first verse can be pretty hard. Maybe you should consider going nose blind to them through exposure. Have you considered just smelling Cheetos for about an hour straight, until you can no longer even perceive them? It might be a form of torture, the likes of which Dick Cheney would approve of, but after you get through it, then it should be fine. Yeah, you can just leave the bag open on your desk for a couple of weeks. She's not responding. I think that's a good sign. I think that means go ahead with the plan. Throw myself out the window. I've always been more of a Doritos man myself. If given the choice between the two. Are we at the end of Holiday? No, we got so much more music. Are you a spicy guy? I can be. That depends on the day, I think, but I could be known to down some spicy Doritos. Do I do the spicy? I could be so inclined if they're there. Depends on how dangerous I'm feeling that day. How dangerously spicy I'm feeling. Why do I do this to myself? Does that look good? It doesn't. Maybe if I just... Maybe I make this thinner. Thinner lines. Lines, please. Lines. Everywhere there's lines. Blocking out the scenery. Breaking my mind. Sorry, that was my impression of William Shatner singing, like when he did Rocket Man. Which is he just says the lyrics, and it's hilarious every time. I love that one podcast that asked Janet Jackson if she likes Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and she had no fucking clue what the hell Cheetos were, thereby establishing that she has never been within spitting distance of a pork person. How do you not know what Cheetos are? Surely when she was in one of the many arenas that she performed in, there was like a banner for Cheetos somewhere. Or someone with like a Cheetos hoodie on, I don't know, something. I'm a rocket man. Burning all my you out there alone. That video is so funny. It's almost like he's self-aware, but just knowing that he's not makes it so much better. It just proves to me that the rich are basically an alien race. I mean, yeah, have you seen Bill Gates try to guess milk prices? Bill Gates, how much does a gallon of milk cost in your opinion? What do you think? What do you think milk costs these days? I don't know, like $15? Bill Gates, what is wrong with you? Surely, it just, you know, and that just demonstrates that he doesn't even buy his own stuff anymore. He literally has people to buy things for him, like milk. I'm sure he hasn't even looked at a receipt, like, in 20 years. How much could it be? $10? Yeah, something like that. Exactly. That might be even verbatim. He's just a lunatic. He's been too rich for too long. He has no idea where he is anymore. I don't look at receipts, but that's just because I'm irresponsible. I just don't want to face the grim reality of what I've done. Oh no. I did spend $18 on cheese danishes, didn't I? Shouldn't have done that. Oh well, cheese danishes time. Oops, I made the brush smaller. Okay. And in denial. It's because I look at them. I'm an enabler. I already paid for it. What's the point of regret? That's a great way of thinking about it. No regrets. This song's got choir and violin. What are you, like, trying to give me everything I ask for in life? What are you doing here? I am in remiss to tell you guys that I can't even play the Ashitaka's theme song anymore for my intro without getting copyright strikes. I'll probably still do it because I've shown I don't care. But it's just annoying to know that that song in particular gets the algorithm pretty consistently. Maybe if I talk during it enough, they won't notice that that's what it is. Because that's like one of my favorite songs at the moment. I'm one of those people where my favorite song is on a rotation. It kind of changes every week or so. But that one's been outliving most of them. I've been listening to the Ashitaka theme for like a month and a half now, and it still has not gotten old for me. It's a good track. Sweetie Swooty, they come for that copyrighted music you use in an intro? How dare they? Come for me for using their property that they made? What's wrong with them? Joey H out here spying. I need someone on my team on the inside. I need to get like an Edward Snowden type who can help me bypass the algorithms. Let me use copyrighted songs with no ramifications. There's already people dying on YouTube. If you look, you don't even have to look that hard. I don't know how they keep it up there. Like just actual some live leak stuff. I don't see why I'm getting all this flack for using copyrighted anime music. And some of these other channels, they just upload that stuff, and it's like, Jesus Christ, how did you get away with that? How are you still getting away with that? The videos have probably been up there for years at this point. YouTube won't even let you say the F word in the first 30 seconds of your video without taking away ad revenue, but they can let death videos on there? It's crazy. Absolutely insane behavior from a company. And all they do is put like an age restriction at the beginning of it. Hey, this contains some mature content. Yeah, you could say that. You could say there's some mature content in a video of someone dying. Pretty sure the Snowden of Twitch streams would be a much more depressing person than we're really giving credit for. He'd be like a Discord moderator. Where it's like you can use the title. You can tell people that you're that if you want them to make fun of you. It may sound impressive to someone who doesn't know what it is, but if they do know what it is, well, there goes all your social credit. Viewer discretion advised, probably. You know, you can freaking... You can watch it with your kids, but just make sure they got like a bowl of Fruit Loops with them. So that they got something else to focus on, at least, at the very least. There's a lot of colors in Fruit Loops. Maybe they'll get distracted by it. I think it's funny, they used to do it. I don't know if they still do it. But they used to do that viewer discretion notification. It would pop up, and then you would click, I accept, I want to see this anyway. And then they would do it like 2 more times, just in case you really didn't actually want to see what you were about to look at. They're like, hey, I know you said you want to see this horrifying video of some dude getting, like, I don't know, eaten by a lion. But like, are you sure you actually want to see that? Why don't you try again? We'll give you another chance to say no. And then you can just keep going. It'll happen like 2 or 3 times. Then the video would pop up. And you could see, I don't know, the dude getting eaten by the lion or whatever you want. Whatever grotesque thing Reddit directed you to on that day. John Cena enters the chat. No, social credit. No. He's got so much. You give your mom another 10 seconds to possibly walk into the room. Actually be a parent for a fucking moment. Nah, I'm an iPad kid. You'll never catch me. Even if you do catch me, the risk you run of catching a disease from touching an iPad kid's iPad is too great to even fathom. They're over there watching an episode of Little Einsteins go. You don't want to touch an iPad kid's iPad. He was in a commercial the other day, and I was disappointed. The whole thing wasn't about him being invisible. I guess that makes me old. That reminds me of a meme, which I will bring up. Let me pause my Hollow Knight music. It was a pretty funny one, I remember. Is that actually... Why is it showing... Oh, I have to... Alright, hold on, let me... That's a different browser window. I see what happened. I did that thing where I accidentally opened a new window. Browser... Okay, here we go. I hope this is the right one. Ew, get out. You can see him. He's appearing. That's the whole... All it takes is some eye drops. Just a lot of eye drops. Excuse me, Avatar, get back here. There's like 40 versions of that meme, and I like all of them. One of them, the eye drops bottle spills out. And it's just like a bunch of nature footage from some documentary all sped up. All it takes is a potentially blinding amount of eye drops. That is a lot of eye drops. That was far too much eye drops. That dude's probably got glaucoma now. It's not how that works, but, you know, what if it did? There could be John Cena in the room right now. I wouldn't know, unless I had eye drops, and I don't, so he could be here right now. How many panels do we think I'm going to get done realistically? You have no idea how much credit I would have given you if you straight-faced said that reminds me of a meme I saw, and then proceeded to just bring up the original ancient-ass you can't see me meme. That reminds me of this meme I saw recently. One second, it's a little obscure. You guys might not even know about it. Hold on, that reminds me of a meme I saw. One second.
I'm John Cena!
There we go. I'm done. I'm done with John Cena memes for now. Someone make a PT where John Cena's behind you the whole time. He could be, you don't know. He could be. Whoops. Okay, let's do this. Have you guys seen this meme? Brings up Velociraptor. I just found out about this. It's crazy. Funniest thing I ever seen. I'm surprised we haven't hit that area yet where people rediscover the ancient texts for memes and we just kind of postmodern-esque revitalize them, put them in the cloning tube, and create them all over again. Like, where's the ironic posting of all those I can't has cheeseburger memes? Where'd they go? What happened? I thought that was a thing we do. As human beings, we regurgitate the same thing after a while, and it's funny again. Guys, I've been laughing at this all day. Steve. Oh, that seems like a Germa bit. If Germa was doing a stream like, he would definitely do that. At some point, for just an hour straight, he would be like, "Oh, that reminds me of this thing I saw. I just found out about this the other day." You just bring up a rage comic. Guy who has only seen Rick and Morty. You know, this reminds me of Rick and Morty. You guys seen that show? Funniest thing I ever seen in my life. I think meme comedy only goes forward. A meme may come back occasionally, but it's mostly onward to final incomprehensibility. That seems to be the direction. That seems to be the trend so far. We haven't reached our limit yet. It keeps going. We've gotten as far as deep-fried memes, I think. I think that's as far as we've gone in terms of I don't even know what this is supposed to be anymore. Or those, what would you even call them? The surrealist memes where they were literally just, that was the point. They were just 3D model assets usually. Like a 3D model of a head on a chair or something, and that would be the meme. We've gotten pretty close to not just complete nonsense. Welcome to class, to your first day of American Internet History. Welcome. Okay, I'll stop with those. Vaporwave covers. This is my Vaporwave Evanescence fan cam AMV. Set to footage of the Bleach anime. I just made that up right now, but I guarantee it's real. Yeah, Bleach Evanescence AMV wasn't even hard. It wasn't. There's so many guys. There's so many. there are so many. There are so many Evanescence Bleach AMVs. I don't know why I'm surprised, but there are so many. I gotta find new music, and it is not gonna be Evanescence Bleach AMVs. I'm not gonna listen to those. I'm trying to make a stupid little game in Scratch where you move a dwarf around and bob goblins. But why would you bob the goblin with a hammer? So far, I spent all my time drawing this stupid dwarf sprite. That's why I could never run a game studio. Right? How is this surprising at all? I just didn't think they would be... I don't even know what I thought. I guess I just wasn't prepared to revisit this era. But there's just like so many. I've been scrolling for like 10 seconds. Also, why are you bopping goblins, you racist? What music are we gonna listen to? Resident Evil 4 OST. Might as well. Seems applicable these days. The original. I haven't played the new one. I don't know when I will, so I'm gonna play the original soundtrack. Am I on the freaking... I gotta check OBS. Yeah, okay, I'm on my artwork. Maybe I'm gonna make a game in Scratch. No, I'm gonna make my game in Unity, just to spite you, where I'm a goblin and I stab dwarves, right in their shins, right in their kneecaps, their patellas as it's called. I've learned that recently again. With my leg studies I've been doing. Got a lot of gold, those dwarves, I bet. Perfect goblin targets. The goblins are disgusting, greedy little monsters. They fill up all of our caves and take jobs from hardworking Americans. I didn't know you had America over there. I feel like we got the wires crossed for a second. What the heck? I forgot, this is when Capcom thought all Spanish people were the same, regardless of where in the world they lived. So I'm not sure how culturally insensitive or accurate this track is. That last part concerns me, Steve. Like when the Capcom dub team was just like, yeah, Spanish, just do like a Mexican accent or something. It's probably the same one, you know? It's probably the same. Says Capcom, not me. These are not the expressed opinions of Zotan the streamer. These are a hypothetical parody of what Capcom may have been thinking while creating the dub for Resident Evil 4. There, I should be in the clear now. Look, they had to keep it vague as to where in the world you were until the very next game where they absolutely did not care. They just let you go blast. And the moment they did that, there were a bunch of gamer journalism TM articles about how Resident Evil 5 was a racist video game. I remember those articles. I remember reading those in Game Informer about how Resident Evil 5 was sick and twisted for what it dared to depict. Now, that's not saying it's like a perfect representation of the culture of the area they decided to represent or display. But, you know, I don't think it's a vile game by any means. I think it's just Capcom ignorance at worst. Are we gonna go against the people who made Mulan for being historically inaccurate? I mean, some people might, but I wouldn't. That's too much effort for me. Abuse against boulders is a long-standing issue and needs to be addressed. That boulder got walloped. I, for one, as an American, and perhaps this is just my privilege speaking, I love when we are misrepresented. Depends on which Mulan, that is true. Apparently they tried very hard to be a bit more accurate in the remake. But when Americans get misrepresented, we get stuff like Bandit Keith, which is hilarious, and I love him. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a better show for having him in it. Hey, it's me, Bandit Keith. I got an American flag bandana on. I'm wearing a leather jacket. He's freaking awesome. I adore whenever the Japanese write in Americans. It's awesome every time. I'll shun the jerks that made remake Mulan fight for. I'll shun the jerks. Alright. That made remake Mulan fight for traditional values. Let me hide this for a sec. Yeah, he do be having his eyes closed. That's about the effect I wanted to achieve. Live action Mulan is a robot. Literally says, I know. Placed to another woman. Good lord, they did that? Disney, what is wrong with you? I thought that movie was supposed to be like, you know, empowering. What happened to the Aladdin movie? Where Jasmine's all coming out like, you can't contain me, moments before she gets contained? I just don't think Disney knows how to empower women. They're trying, I think. I don't know, actually. I don't know if what they're doing actually counts. They're doing something alright. I will not be silent, she says, singing a song no one hears. That was it. That scene. What a wild idea. To just be so tone deaf and trying to be empowering. Alright, hold on, I gotta be right back in one little second. Let me just write. It'll take like 1 second. Let me do that. He's got a little face tattoo. Perfect. Disney has a hard time remembering how to girls sometimes. Yeah, it does seem to be that way. Alright, 1 second. I'm back. I'll be watching the new Little Mermaid with cautious suspicion. I don't even know what they're gonna do with it. You believe this guy? He thinks he can just walk away and we'll just sit here. I absolutely can. What's going on here? I'm literally back already. You guys haven't even finished your rant yet. I literally I returned so quick, your bit isn't even done. Like we ain't got nowhere to be. The audacity. This is oppression that I'm facing right now. My chat is incredibly fickle. That'll be the title of next stream. A lot more ambience in the Resident Evil 4 soundtrack than I thought there would be. Gotta move his mouth down a sec. Mouth down a little bit. You can't move a mouth down for a second. I guess you can, but that's not what I meant. That's a measurement of time. I need a measurement of distance. No, that's the design pencil, you fool. Yeah, the remake for Mulan, or not Mulan, Little Mermaid, I don't even know where they're gonna go with that. I was never too big on the original one in the first place outside of Ursula because, of course, obviously she's the best part of the movie. But I felt the whole romance element of that movie just a little bit off. It just seems strange to me personally. I like the songs, those are good, obviously. Obviously I like the songs. Who doesn't like the songs? I'm not a maniac. Also, there's some, speaking of remakes, I don't know if it counts as a remake, but there's like that new Ninja Turtles trailer that dropped for that movie where they just stole Into the Spider-Verse's art style, but I'm perfectly okay with that because it looks better than whatever else they probably were going to do. That looks pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff happening with Ninja Turtles these days. Apparently they got a video game announcement for it being in development for one about the Last Ronin graphic novel, which I am pretty hyped about. I've read that one. It's pretty good. And a video game of that would be pretty sick, I think. Flip the canvas. I think I need to rotate this man. Slightly. Oh no, I can see my errors now. I gotta fix that. I draw this man's beard so many different ways. I feel like that's just how I handle hair in general. I cannot settle on a specific shape, so I just kind of make it go all over the place. I do kind of like this version of the beard that I do better than some of the other ones. I think it's a little bit more simplified than the other pages. This has more little shapy bits in it, right here and here and over here. Then go there, and then one over here, and then a couple over there. I think I abstracted it to like 4 or 3 and some of the other pages, but I think I might try and go for this type of look a bit more. Also, I need to do his mustache. I forgot. Let me get that. Now this track I remember. It was a good track. Have you seen the Steam review? I haven't seen anything from the new Resident Evil game because, I mean, I've played the original, so I know the general plot, but I didn't want to see any spoilers. But I've seen all the Steam reviews for the new RE4, and there's a bunch in there that are like shoot the lake for a new costume, and I just thought that was very good. I'm glad we're keeping that tradition alive of telling people to shoot the lake for an unlockable. Absolutely ruin those new players' days. It's like telling a Minecraft streamer to go press Q to pick up the lava, and when all that would do is just throw your pickaxe or whatever you're holding into it. I've seen those clips many times. Those never get old. Someone who has never played Minecraft before, you gotta be careful if you never played Minecraft before and you're asking chat for advice. They will ruin your life. Which panel do I want to do next? I don't know. It's all a bit of a blur right now. Are you going to play the remake? I plan on doing it. I don't know when. Maybe if I get this job sooner rather than later. But we'll see, won't we? I watched a video on remembering RE4 and it's absolutely soul-crushing. How many tiny little secrets and Easter eggs are all over that game? I will never make it. They will never make a game that good. Or you will never make a game that good. Okay, I understand it. Yeah, they really there's so much. Oh yeah, I remembered this. Let me just hide that layer quick. Capcom probably won't either. Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. But yeah, I don't know if they will either. Both are, you know, valid statements. It's kind of hard to outdo one of your masterpieces. I don't know, from what I hear, people really like the remake. I don't know if some people... Is the general idea that people are thinking this one is better, or just like a good game that is an alternative to RE4? Do they see this as the definitive edition, or just like another thing? I haven't quite seen enough of it to get the either opinion, or get really what people think about it, other than that it's very good. How much of a backlog are you wanting to make for yourself before you start posting pages? This is, I have chapter 1. This is the prologue. I am on page, it says 5, but I think that means 6. I don't remember. I don't know how long the prologue is going to be, but if I finish the prologue, I'll break it down in general terms. Because I don't want to spoil anything. So chapter 1 is over here. It's probably around... okay, so when I said I had it done, I think I mean I had it almost done. I don't know how long it's going to be. Maybe around like 30 pages, 30-ish pages. This prologue. I have all of this done, by the way, so it's over here. I've gone back and made this prologue here. Purely because I decided my story would flow better this time. Meeting time work. Alright, catch you later, Sherry. Thanks for stopping in. This will probably be around, if I had to guess, I've planned out maybe like, you know, maybe again like 30-ish pages. And we're on page 6 right now. So I'll have a huge buffer by the time I finish this thing, this prologue, I believe. Maybe like 20, 30-ish, I don't know. Around that. So when I finish this, I'll have like 50 to 60 pages, which will be nice. That's like a whole week, or like a whole year of uploading 2 pages a week. Very nice. But actually, no, I'm not going to do that, because when I release the first 3 episodes, I might put like maybe like 4 to 5 pages in them when you do it. Like your episode 1 that Webtoons makes you do, because you have to post 3 episodes. So it'll be a lot more than that. I'll probably post like maybe like 12 to 15 pages on my first day. Yeah, like a pilot. Yeah, they kind of make you do a pilot. I think RE4 Remake, which I very much appreciate, is is in a weird place of being a really solid refinement of the original game while sacrificing a lot of the endearing nature that made it timeless. It's being considered a great game, which it is, but I can't help but notice it doesn't capture the charm. Yeah, okay. That was what I was thinking might happen. I think that's what a lot of people thought might happen. Is that the campiness of the whole thing might just get, you know, toned down at the very least, or just outright removed in some spots. In the sequel way, RE4 always felt like Leon's vacation after Raccoon City. Yeah, man, he got that overtime, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, yo, he didn't actually. He rejected it outright. He gets to be a big solo action hero. And he gets to see his girlfriend again. Even though I think she kicks him in the face. I don't remember exactly what happens, but he's probably into that, so it's like that's a win for Leon. Ada, it's good to see you. She loves me. The remake kind of just makes you feel sorry for Leon. They have a cool quick time fight. And he likes every second of it. Yeah, it's coming back to me. They do have a quick time fight. That's all just foreplay to him. Ada is a bad influence. Why do I got 4 viewers now? Get on out of here. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure when she cartwheel kicks the gun out of his hand, he makes it. It probably does. Would not be surprised. Moving face away from monitor, zooming out canvas at same time. Looks fine to me. I couldn't tell if that was a motorcycle driving down the road or if that was a sound from the Resident Evil soundtrack. That's how diverse the sound design is on this OST. Yeah, that's from the soundtrack. I couldn't tell if that was something driving down the road. God, this music, I know. It was almost as bad as that like binaural knocking video. Felt like that thing was in real life, that sound. They keep playing it. This coming on while it rains in the village was probably the only actually scary part of RE4. I think the scariest part of RE4 for me was a little gameplay sequence where they bring out the 2 giants when you have Ashley with you. And you have to protect her while fighting 2 of the, what is a Los Gigantes in Giganta? I don't remember. RE4 El Gigante. In the big foundry pit? I don't think it's the foundry one. I remember it being in like a really narrow hallway type thing. El Gigante, yeah. I forgot his name for a second. I'm getting a lot of remake art. Oh, dude, this is gonna be so annoying. Now, whenever I look up stuff about RE4, it's just gonna be remake tips and tricks now, and it's like, oh man, this is gonna really. I'm gonna have to like look for the original stuff I was reading. It's gonna take so much longer now because I have to filter on through the remake, which has a lot of the same similar gameplay sections. I remember it being in an arena of sorts, and one of them was an armored one from the island. Maybe you only fought one then with Ashley, but just the fact that she was there was enough to be awful. But I do remember the two in the Foundry Pit as another encounter. But the one that scared me was Ashley is there, Leon is also there, then there's an El Gigante, and the hallway that you're in is so narrow. It was just a nightmare situation. You can't throw her in a dumpster, as far as I remember. Can you still dumpster Ashley in the new game? Somebody has to tell me. Can I put her in the trash? This is soothing. And the scariest part by design is against the first regenerator in the clinic, where all you have is the thermal scope and a bolt action rifle. Yeah, that is true. They did that felt like a callback to the pacing of the first RE. That felt like a very mansion-esque type setup that they were doing. If you found the thermal scope, that's true. You could even just not find it. And boy, what a terrible time you'd have for the rest of that. I'm starting to think the RE4 soundtrack was a bad idea. I just feel like I'm gonna get jumped at any moment. I'm on the second floor of my house, but I feel like something's gonna climb up here through my window. It's not great in the ear cuffs, not gonna lie. Yeah, I didn't recall it being this like this grungy, this grimy. Let's go over here. They're just kind of all like that, huh? Weird. I guess it works a lot better in the game's context than just out of it. So let's find something else, I think. The Dune soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. Surely by Water Tower Music. Yeah, Warner Brothers certainly would not kill me and bend me over their knee. Is the night raining sequence after the lake? I'm trying to remember the night raining sequence after the lake. I think so. I would believe so, if I'm remembering correctly. Let's go to the Elden Ring OST. Why not? I know it's before the castle. Alright, this is too hard. Freaking, is it so hard? Do the Zelda music. Old reliable. Alright. Yeah, the night raining sequence after the lake? I think it would be after the lake. It might even be like right after the lake. Because I always remember the, what's the big salamander's name? Del Lago? What's his name? Salamander. Del Lago. I did it right. I'm so smart. Del Lago. Yeah, I'm sorry that I just keep looking it up, but it is so easy. You got it. Yeah, I'm just very quick on the Google search. I'm very impatient when it comes to learning a thing. Because I always remember the Del Lago boss fight being not nighttime, but also time is kind of like not really a thing in RE4 that makes sense. You can't really go by what point of the game you're in. It just kind of progresses when you feel like it. Yeah, it's in the day. Time in Resident Evil 4 flows even more arbitrarily than it does in Dark Souls 3, which is saying something. Actually stays pretty consistent until the castle. That's a fair point. Whoops. I think it's just 2 days and then you reach Sadler, just 2 days. 2 days of having little embryos in you, little gross little virus parasites. Luis talking about ballistics or something, I don't know. Because it's just day, then night, and then day again at some point while you're in there. Yes, they had to have the sunrise at the end. When Leon's on a jet ski or something. And then Ashley's all like, Leon, and he's all like, get away from me, girl. I'm already married. In my mind. Ew, cooties that are not from Ada. Wouldn't mind Ada's cooties, but that's it. I only like Ada's cooties, yeah. In my cuts and wounds. Then it got weird. Yeah, the script towards they really started falling apart for me at the end of that. And like the next 45 minutes of Leon's monologue about Ada's cooties kind of killed the ending for me, but still a timeless masterpiece, regardless of that one little hiccup. It can't all be perfect. I remember his whole thing with Krauser felt exactly like Metal Gear Solid. They were friends. Maybe even closer than brothers. Brother. It's been too long. The only one playing Leon like a fiddle is Ada. We can probably do the line art for this background panel, and then I'll probably call it for the stream. I don't paint the, or I don't do line art on this, so this is gonna be whatever. I'm gonna do these. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't even have to draw their faces, so it'll be easy. But yeah, I wish I should learn how to apply some more dynamic compositions with that racked focus. W-R-A-C-K-E-D. You could even do some, oh, I figured out a way you could make that texture thing work too as well. You'd have to keep the sizing consistent actually, so maybe I haven't. I thought I did for a second, but I was thinking about like how to apply motion in a comic. Basically storyboarding, basically. I was just thinking to myself right now, how would you do like a dolly shot in a comic? And I guess you would have to like start with this, and then you draw the background elements out there. There's your character. And then you'd have to draw another panel, which would like zoom it in. And then the background, you know, the elements get smaller because that's what a dolly shot is. And you have the third panel, you got the whoosh, and then the elements are real small in the background. So I guess you'd have to do it like sequential. That's one thing you could do to simulate that. I've seen people do that with zoom-ins and zoom-outs in their graphic novels. They do it sequentially. Would we need to see at least? Yeah, I think that would be neat. I could do that if there's a sense of a moment of dread. I could incorporate that into. I haven't paneled out anything beyond Chapter 1, so Lord knows there's plenty of opportunities to put that in there. See how it comes across. Yeah, we could give it a try. I think. I do believe. Well, that just looks ridiculous with no context. I do like drawing this guy because just like 50% of it at any given moment on screen is just hair. Love drawing hair. Big hair, the better. All the better to obscure your character with. So yeah, that'll be my homework, I think I'll give myself. I've been doing a lot of anatomy studies recently. Let's delve into something a bit more conceptual. I'll start looking at like cinematography. I do like cinematography, but I think the tricky part will be applying it. I don't even know how I would do it. Maybe I would just break down interesting shots that I find. That could be a thing. I've seen people do that for concept art. When they're trying to get compositions for that. If you're doing like a splash art page, you'll study like movie shots. You could do that. Because it's usually the same widescreen format for splash art as it is for like movie shots. No joke, man, the kind of practice over time is really going to have a huge effect. I'm praying every day that it does. That's why I started the daily art stuff every time. I had it going good for a while on the first account, but then people started following me that I knew in real life, and I was like, this is no fun, so now I made the Doodle account, and nobody knows about it. Except for you. So no snitching at the people's eye. Oh yeah, dude, that's the goal, right? I gotta get character art going crazy. Whoops. That's the eraser. I did notice a little bit of an... 1 second. Rebooting. I did notice a little bit of an effect from the leg studies. The most recent doodles I did. That pose of Faye there on the right. Big hair lady with sword. If you happen to see the post again. That came out pretty naturally, and I think it looks pretty nice. The way the knees are at different angles. I think I wouldn't have been able to do that until I restudied the legs a bit. So that one came out, I'm looking at it right now. I think that turned out pretty good in the leg department, which is where I was focusing, so that's nice. How the heck does this beard work from this angle? Why did I do this? He's got like a thing that goes, his beard goes that way. He's got his neck you gotta worry about, because people have those for some reason. Don't ask me why. I should start, because I can do backgrounds, they just take me forever. I should look up some more efficient ways to do the backgrounds. I would say that's my #1 trouble spot with this comic, is like, they're serviceable, they're fine, but I don't really have like an identity for backgrounds yet. I feel like stylistically, I at least have something for these characters. I have enough of a foundation to where I can like meddle around and kind of do whatever I want, and it'll be like, you know, at the very least based in some level of foundation here. But with backgrounds, I'm kind of just winging it right now. Like, one of my better ones is probably this one from chapter 1, but this like took me forever. Because as you can see, it is just hand painting all this rock texture with a Clip Studio oil brush. Went over with some gouache texturing there. Looks like I did that, but yeah, this looks really cool, and I wish I could replicate this all the time. But it just took me so dang long. Good for a splash art page, but not much else, I think. That's why I needed to be more economical. Don't look at that. Alright. There were words again. I'm so bad at it. I feel like if I did lewd art, you can tell I don't, because if I did, I would have accidentally shown it on stream already and gotten myself banned. For sure that would have happened. I would have just left it up over here somewhere. I would have forgotten to close it before stream started. People were like, "What is that?" And I just, "Oh, this? Let me see." Oh no. That's a Paninis or a Bajin. A Bagurna. I've exposed myself and the characters I was drawing. There they go. So that's how you know I don't draw any of that stuff. Because you would have seen it by now. Whether I like it or not. What are we at? Alright, I guess I'll just finish this guy then. Then I'll call stream. Everything takes me a little longer than I anticipate. I'm just a slow artiste. I ain't the slowest, but I do be on the lower end of the percentile range, I feel. Alright, so we got, you know, 2 bust shot and then a dude over here. Look at this dude, and then we just gotta do the lady. Oh, we did this lady too, part of her, anyway. And we just got these. We can probably finish that up next stream, I think. But speaking of next stream, I think that's it for this one. Let me just, ha, there it is. Throwing my glove. Throwing my glove down. Sorry, I just saw my hand rubbing picked up in the mic, so I was doing it. Thanks for stream, came back just in time. Well, thank you for coming back and thank you for leaving. Yeah, so next stream tomorrow, same time. I got no job yet, but maybe in the future I'll have to change my schedule, and then I will notify everyone when that happens. How? I don't know yet. I don't have a Discord. I don't need one yet. So I'll probably just start streaming at that time. Same bad play. Exactly. More comic stuff, you know how it is. I'm not much for variety right now. I'm working on a thing. Best of luck, thank you. It would be nice to have a job again. After all this time. Would I even remember how to hold a carton of milk and put it on a shelf? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time. Later, dog.